Guys, Kathy Richards, RD hopping on. I want to hop on and talk about what I see going in the online space. It's beginning of January, everyone's raring to go, resolutions. I see a lot of posts about following like the cycles of nature instead, whereas spring is like, spring forward and refresh, and winter is really about hibernation. And I want to talk about New Year, New You, and a couple of things that have come up with clients this week. So I had an amazing call with a few clients this week where the discussion was around like them having awareness. That's not the issue. They were having awareness around their eating behaviors and how those had adjusted over the holidays and how it wasn't necessarily helping them achieve the goal of resilience through nutrition that they're aiming for. But it was still tied to a number. It was tied to like that their weight went up less than a pound, but it was still tied to that scale. So we did a lot of digging and a lot of discussion about like, what does that mean? Like, what does that like 0.8, what does that really mean in the grand scheme of things? Because this person is happy, they're healthy, they have tons of privilege, they can have whatever they want. But their focus is really on building their health through their daily habits, but then that diet culture still sneaks in there. So I've seen a few of my colleagues in the online space talking about like throwing out the New Year, New You, which I totally agree with, but it's focusing on doing it in a way that feels good to you. I watched another story pop through my feed, and there is, a checklist of things similar to my healthy habits checklist. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead. It's focusing on building on the things you're already doing, because we know that makes us feel empowered. And when we build on what we're doing, that gives us feedback that we're doing well, and then we can continue to do well. So it was kind of like that. So I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. That checklist looks similar. But then at the bottom of the checklist, it said, give up one thing. And I thought, oh, like we don't have to give up things. My word of the year, I haven't shared it yet, is expansion. And that's the program that I'm launching. And I'll talk a bit about that at the end of the live. But it's really about expanding on those health behaviors that we already do. And that's where me and this client got to yesterday. And it was just an amazing half hour of coaching where she was just leaning back into what she already knew. She has so much training, like in how the mind works. She's on point with her mindset. She feels good, even though she makes choices that don't always feel great to her body. She's okay with that. So she's well on her way to becoming an intuitive eater, because we know dieting doesn't work, right? As soon as we restrict something, we have that thing up on that pedestal, and then we're going to have deprivation. We're going to start to think about that thing more. So it was interesting. A lot of that conversation focused around that, and we came back to some journaling, which isn't fun. But sometimes it serves a good role because it lets us see what needs to adjust, or it lets us be honest with ourselves when that's really sometimes a hard thing to do. So all that to say, yeah, throw out like New Year and New You. A lot of us are barely hanging on. I'm like a bit exhausted today with the online schooling, working full time, running my business, feeding my kids as a single mom. It's a lot in a day to take, care of everyone and get everyone fed and get everyone happy. They also don't feel well because we all got some vaccines in the last week or so. So we've all been kind of out of commission with that. So that means, lower the expectations and just do what needs to be done. And at the end of the day, this is what the client came to yesterday. At the end of the day, I've done enough. I am enough. And life's going to go on. So give yourself a break. It doesn't matter if you have kids. It doesn't matter if you're working out of the house, if you're working at home. A lot of us are feeling the heaviness now, and that's normal. You don't have to hop on someone's new coaching program and feel like you have to do all the things. Move your body every day. You don't have to give up things if it makes you feel better. And you want to give into some of those cravings now, that's fine. That's normal. We're human. Next week, I was going to be running a 5-day challenge, 5 days to food freedom. that's going to be bumped probably by a week or so because I've got the kids and it's crazy. The program, sorry, you're going to hear them coming. I think they're meowing. The program expansion, I'll hop on and talk about that after the noise leaves. Have a great day, guys.